it's me again. My name is Becca. I'm 8 years old. Today I'm going to read my book, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Today's chapter is chapter 18, Birthday Surprise. Starts at page 311 and ends at page, let me see. Let's see. No. This no. What is this? Through says page 311 and ends at page 330. What? That's 20 pages. Oh my, just read. Chapter 18, Birthday Surprise. The next day, Harry confirmed in both Ron and Hermione the task that Dumbledore had sent him. So, separately, for Hermione still refused to remain in Ron's presence longer than it took to him a contemptuous look. Ron thought that Harry was unlikely to have any trouble with Slughorn at all. "He loves you," he said over breakfast, waving an early fork full of fried egg. "Won't refuse you anything, will he? Not this little potions, Prince. Just hang back after class this morning and ask him." Hermione, however, took a gloomier view. "He must be determined to hide what really happened if Dumbledore could get it out of him," she said in a low voice as they stood in the desert. Snowy courtyard at brick. Horcruxes? I have never even heard of them. You haven't? Harry was disappointed. He had hoped that Hermione might have been able to give him a clue as to what Horcruxes were. They must be really advanced dark magic, or why would Voldemort have wanted to know about them? I think it's going to be difficult to get the information. You have to be very careful about how you approach Slughorn. Think at a strategy. Ron reckons I should just hang back after potion this afternoon. Oh well, if one thinks that, you better do it, she said, flaring a bit once. After all, when has one judgment ever been falsely? Hermione, can't you? No, she said angry and stormed away, leaving Harry alone and ankle deep in snow. Potions lessons were uncomfortable enough these days, seeing as Harry, Ron, and Hermione had to share a desk. Today, Hermione moved the cauldron around the table so that she was close to Ernie and ignored both Harry and Ron. "What have you done?" Ron muttered to Harry, looking at Hermione's haughty profile. But before Harry could answer, Slughorn was calling for silence from the front of the room. Settle down, please. Quickly now, lots of work to get through this afternoon. Gallipot's third law, who can tell me but Miss Granger, of course." Hermione recited at top speed. Gallipot's third law states that the antidote for a blank poison would be equal to more than the sum of the idiots for each more of the separate components. Preciously beamed Slughorn. 10 points for Gryffindor. Now, if we said Gallipot's third law as truth, Harry was going to have to take Slughorn's word for it that Gallipot's third law was truth, because he had not understood any of it. Nobody apart from Hermione seemed to be following that Slughorn said next either, which means, of course, that assuming we have achieved correct identification of the potion's ingredients by Scorpion Revelant, by primary aim is not the relative simple ones of selecting ingredients to those ingredients in of themselves, but to find that add component, which which was by an almost alchemical process transformed these disparate elements. Ron was sitting beside Harry with his mouth half open, doodling absently of this new copy of advanced potion making. Ron kept forgetting when he failed to grasp what was going on. And so finished Slughorn. I want each of you to come and take one of these flakes from my desk. You are to create an Eden for the poison within it before the end of the lesson. Good luck, and don't forget the protective gloves. Hermione had left her stool and was halfway towards Slughorn's desk before the rest of the class realized it was time to move. And by the time Harry, Ron, and Ron returned to the table, she had already tripped the contents of her field into her cauldron and was kindling a fire underneath it. It's a shame that the prince won't be able to help you much with this, Harry, she said brightly as she straightened up. You have to understand the prince in truth. Now shortcuts of cheats, and not Harry uncorked the poison he had taken from Slughorn's desk, which was garish shade of pink, tipped into his cauldrons and lit a fire underneath it. He did not have the faintest idea what he was supposed to do next. He glanced at Ron, who was now standing there looking rather glumless, having copied everything Harry had done. You sure the prince hasn't got any tips? Ron muttered to Harry. Harry pulled at his trusty copy of Advanced Potion Making and turned to the chapter of idioms. It was Gilbert third law started word for word as Hermione. He had recited it, but not a single element not in the prince's hand to explain what it meant. Apparently, the prince, like Hermione, had no difficulty understand it. Nothing, said Harry gloomily. Hermione was now waving her wand extensively over her cauldron. Unfortunately, they could not copy the spell she was doing because she was now so good at no verbal incantation that she did not need to say the words loud. Michael, however, was wearing Speaker's Reveler over his cauldron, which sounded impressive, so Harry and Ron hastened to imitate him. It took Harry only 5 minutes to realize that his reputation as the best potion maker in the class was crashing right his ears. Slughorn had peered hopefully into his cauldron on his first throughput of had withdrawn his head hastily, coughing as the smells of bad eggs smuggled. He had loathed being at perform in every potions class. She was now decanting the mysterious separate ingredients of a poison into 10 different crystal vials. More to avoid watching this irritating sight than anything else, Harry bent over the Half-Blood Prince's book and turned a few pages with unnecessary force, and there it was, scrawled right across a long list of idiots, just shoved bigger than their throats. Harry stared at these words for a moment. Hadn't he once long ago heard of Bezoars? Harry Snape mentioned them in their first ever potion lessons, a stone taken from the stomach of a goat which would protect most poison. It was not an answer to the culprit problem. Had Snape still been the teacher, he would not have dared do it. But this was a bold and wrong within it, pushing aside unicorn horns and tangle of dry herbs until he found at the very back a small cardbox on which had been scribbled the word Bezoars. Harry seized one, put the books back in the cupboard, and hurried back to his cauldron. Time's up, cautioned Harry. Well, let's see how you have done. Please, what have you got for me? Slowly, Slughorn moved around the room, examining the various idiots. Nobody had finished the test. Hermione was trying to cram a few more ingredients to a bottle before Slughorn to a fry in portrait films. Harry stood there, barrel clutching his slightly squeaky hand. Someone reached the table at last. He snipped Ernest's portrait and passed on to Ron with a grimace. He did not linger over Ron's call. Ron backed away swiftly, reaching slightly. "And you, Harry," he said, "what have you got to show me?" Harry out at the barrel sitting on his palm. Someone looked at it for a full 10 seconds. Harry wondered for a moment where he was going to set it through his back. "What left is you've got, nerd boy," he boomed, taking the barrels and holding it up so that your class could see it. "Oh, you're like the mother. Well, I can fault you. A barrel would certainly act as an idiot to all these potions." "You were late, one," she panted. "I've got you a birthday." "Leave me alone," said Ron impatiently. "Harry is going to introduce me to Romilda Vane." And with that other words to her, he pushed his way out of the portrait hall. Harry tried to make an apologetic face to Lavender, but it might have turned out simply amused, because he looked more offended than ever as the fat lady swan sat behind him. Harry had been slightly worried that Slughorn might be at breakfast, but he entered his office door at the first knock, wearing a green velvet dressing gown and matching nightcap and looking rather bleary-eyed. "Harry," he mumbled, "this is very early for a call. I generally sleep late on Saturday." "Professor, I'm really sorry to disrupt you," said Harry as quietly as possible, while Ron stood on tiptoe, attempting to see past Slughorn to his room. "But my friend Ron swallowed up that potion by mistake. You couldn't make him an idiot, could you? I'd take him to Madame Pomfrey, but he's not supposed to have anything from Weasley Wizard Wheeze, and you know, awkward questions. I have Harry, somewhat disturbed by the fact that Ron was now elbowing him in the ribs in attempts to force his way into the room. "Well, I never missed an idiot for a love potion, sir, and by the time I get it right, Ron might have done something serious." "What but Slughorn?" Harry leapt over a low table and sprinted towards Slughorn's open potion kit, pulling at jaws and pouches, while the terrible scent of Ron's gargling breath filled the room. He hurtled back to Ron's barrel. Harry gave a great shudder, a grasping glass, and his body became limp and still. "Goodbye, Ron. See you later. Have a nice day."